Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by the Standards Weekly Check-In. I'm Colin, behind the camera got Heavy Metal Dylan.
What's up?
Today we're going to get into some stat picks, flip through some new arrivals and recently priced records, and address some viewer questions at the end of the video. As always, if you see anything you like, you can hit the DMs on Instagram, give the shop a ring, or just cruise by. We're open 11 to 8, 7 days a week. Staff picks. I got two local records with some scary faces that came in this week. The new album from New Skeletal Faces, which is phenomenal. I really like this record. They've, I think, expanded their sound a little bit. I always felt like they used to just kind of be like a Christian death worship band. And now I hear a lot more like Anglo post-punk in the mix. Everything from like Amoebics to The Cult. A lot of reference points and a little bit of, metal. They even do a Bathory cover on the record, which is nice. Good album, well recorded. You can listen to it again and again. That's what I like. Lends itself to repeat listens. Good atmosphere to it. I got an open one.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, you should play it.
Alright, I'll tomorrow.
And then on the very opposite end of the spectrum musically, the World of Pain reissue of their first was originally a CD. Now it is on vinyl, and there's like some songs from their demo on the back. Yeah, just really good. I felt like I've been like kind of a hater on like beat down or heavy hardcore like the last 5 years or so. I haven't liked any of the new bands. I say like the 3 Knee Deep record. That was like the last good record, remotely in that vein,
Yeah.
And I'm like, am I getting older? Am I the problem? And then I listened to this record and I'm like, no, it's just fucking gone to shit. Like, it's just a very boring kind of music now. But this isn't from now. This is from like 10 years ago. It's much better. From
10 years?
2009 is when the demo tracks are from.
Yeah.
So more than that.
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still, and I like that band when they were around the first time around. And it does. I think it aged well. Still an enjoyable listen. How about yourself? What are you listening to? What are you lying about listening
I'm not
to?
lying,
Calling
bro.
you out already before
listen,
you even
I've
start.
been listening to this Blood Incantation Absolute Elsewhere record. It's brand new. It's very proggy death metal. I like it a lot. Why are you laughing? People tell me to listen to this album all the time, and I finally did, and I went, yeah, this is pretty good. I'm glad we finally got this in the store. Blood Incantation Absolute Elsewhere, that record. It's good.
I don't believe you've listened to it. Let's look through some records.
All right.
Welcome to the Cronin November podcast, where I scream at Dylan about all the David Cronenberg movies I'm seeing.
You are watching David Cronenberg, and you saw a movie I didn't think he did.
Which one?
The Dead Zone.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he did that, I guess.
He directed it. And
Yeah.
I'm realizing, going through his catalog, I did The Brood, Scanners, Videodrome, and then The Dead Zone this week. The Brood is he's in his final form at that point. He's in his prime, like compared to Rabid and like Fast Company he directed but didn't write.
Uh-huh.
I think those are his paycheck movies.
Okay.
This Videodrome is all him, which is why it's nonsensical. You remember anything about Videodrome?
Don't they rent movies and then the TV? No.
Yeah, that's like all you remember, right?
Yeah.
And TV.
Yeah, there's more to that?
Yeah, it actually makes a lot of sense. It's just you have to kind of pay attention to it. But yeah, Dead Zone is just him directing it. Christopher Walken, 80s Christopher Walken, just being the coolest dude.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you make a movie where like some guy gets psychic powers or something, he's got to have like a weird head. No one would believe it if like Ryan Gosling or something.
Isn't his hair like blown out, like into a square? Or am I remembering it wrong?
It's not wrong. Actually, he's like a teacher earlier in the movie. He has like Ichabod Crane hair.
Okay.
He like has to be this like extra pasty faced nerd.
Yeah.
And then he gets in a coma and gets all cool. But yeah, unhinged film. It's just chaotic. Cronenberg movies are generally focused. Like one thing will happen, but when someone else writes it, it's chaos, man. That's the reality thing. Sometimes you just got to do it for the check.
Yeah. There's no like weird stuff happening, like physical body.
You want to know the body?
I don't remember.
The body horror of
The Dead Zone?
Of The Dead Zone is.
I know there's the scissor scene.
But it's kind of tasteful, actually.
Yeah.
But the real body horror is when Christopher Walken comes out of a coma and his lips are so dry.
Oh, yeah.
It's like uncomfortable to look at. Even when he's doing someone else's story, he's still got to get a little bit of him in there.
Yeah.
Viewer questions. This is the part of the vid where we answer questions left on last week's video. This time around, the highest order asks, best songs that you formerly hated. I got I used to be a Ramones snob. Mm-hmm. I was like, at some point, obviously like Ramones Mania is the gateway, you know, and then your brain gets a little bigger and you start going full albums. And I was like, Tommy Ramone era only. No reason, no good reason. Or just like, I'd be like, well, there's songs off of these albums, but I really didn't like the more produced stuff, like Pet Sematary being a big one. I was like, that's a sellout song. It's not the same of Motorhead's Killed by Death. I was like, that just sounds like butt rock. When it came up on like No Remorse.
Yeah.
And now I appreciate the more musicality of both of those songs. Both two of the best songs ever.
Yeah.
And for a while as a youngin', which I consider them too like glossy, too produced.
Killed by Death is too produced.
Yeah. I mean, it's just if you, from my perspective,
yes,
like someone who is coming to Motorhead is like, this is like a punky rock and roll band, or like a just high adrenaline, I guess, band.
Yeah.
And then you get to that song, and it sounds like all the big hard rock bands of the 80s, which I grew up with. And it was just like, sounds like dinosaur rock. Doesn't sound like, like The Hammer was like a song I loved, because it was like, that's Motorhead.
Yeah.
And then compared to that, Killed by Death was like kind of a drag. But obviously, I've rescinded my opinion that I had when I was like 12 years old.
You learned from some mistakes?
Yes,
Okay.
I've grown as a person.
Yes.
I'm all about growing as a person, self-improvement,
Same.
grind set,
Yeah.
just waking up and stacking dollars, and like just learning a language.
Learning a language.
Yeah.
Okay.
Learn a skill every day. Every day, wake up, learn a skill, master it, move on to the next one.
Yeah.
The next day.
Who cares? Go harder.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. You can't think of a song, can you?
I did have a song, but I don't know if I hated it. I just remember not caring.
Yeah.
AC/DC's Back in Black.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember not caring as a kid. So you hear it once, you're like, this is cool.
Yeah.
But then you hear it, it's in your face a million times. Granted, it's not like I'm going back and listening to Back in Black willingly.
Right.
Only when it's in the store. But I learned to appreciate that song and like it for what it is. I don't hate it as much as I did. Granted, I just didn't like it. But
it is a certified ditty. It's a bop.
okay, yeah, it is a bop. I didn't know.
It's a catchy little tune.
Yes, and you've been there, bro.
Yeah.
They play it everywhere.
That segues into the next comment we got. Glory Good was addressing the burnt songs you still like conundrum from a few weeks ago. He brings up Dire Maker from Zeppelin. He says it's a generational thing.
Sure.
And he brings up Bobby McGee. It's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Me and Bobby McGee, Yeah. You know what? I'll agree with that. I do like that song. I like a bunch of Janis Joplin songs in my head for no reason for like a week.
Yeah.
I have never put on a Janis Joplin record. I don't know why I had that song in my head. Or that Mercedes-Benz song.
Which one's that?
Lord, won't you buy me
Oh.
a Mercedes-Benz?
Yeah.
I had that song like burned into my brain. I don't think I've heard that song like this century.
You don't think you go to a store and you hear it, like accidentally?
Could be.
I can see that.
And he said Bowie's China Girl, and that's a great one. I would say even I'll double up and say the song Let's Dance is off that record is great. Let's Dance is a perfect like burnt album that's still really good.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Bowie records, and it is super burnt. But that's the power of good production.
I get it.
If you have any questions you'd like to see answered on next week's video, drop a comment in the YouTube comment section. We'll address it next week. Thanks for watching, everyone. Peace. Tommy Ramone era only.